Yesterday, Ted Cruz was big news on the program because he had proposed something that had already been implemented. He suggested that it be re-implemented, and that was the NYPD surveilling and paying attention to, monitoring, whatever you want to say, Muslim neighborhoods to try to find any evidence that there might be bomb-making activity, terrorism being planned, or what have you. It was a plan that had already been implemented during the Bush administration in cahoots with the New York City Police Department and the mayor, and it had been allowed to end, I think, or if it didn't end, it certainly faded away at some point. And Cruz, in the reaction to what had happened in Brussels, said, "Hey, it's time to bring this kind of stuff back. I mean, this is very." You remember everybody. You can't do the way you wouldn't even. That's not our values. That's not who we are. All of this rot. People just had a cow over it, which is why I went back and found the original news stories in the AP back in 2011 describing how the plan worked. And it not just was the NYPD surveilling these neighborhoods; it was the CIA helping them. And it happened under Obama. Started under Bush, Obama continued it, and here's Cruz merely suggesting that something that already had been be re-implemented, and everybody was having a cow over this. But Cruz didn't back down, and in fact, there's more to this. He was on Bloomberg's All Due Respect on TV last night. Mark Halperin said to him, "What would you say to a young child who would see policemen in their neighborhood and wondering why is their neighborhood, a young Muslim child, getting increased security?" What this is about is, I made a point yesterday, these moderate, peace-loving Muslims, wouldn't they welcome a police presence in their neighborhood if it was designed to keep the neighborhood safe, if it was designed to root out terrorists, criminals, bad actors? Because we're told that moderate mainstream Muslims want no part of terrorism. We are told, in fact, that terrorism is not something to do with Islam. Even though terrorists commit their acts of terror in the name of Islam, we are told that Islam is a religion of peace, that there is no terrorism. And this is what Obama tells us. I'm not making this up. This is what Obama says. This is what Hillary says. This is what all the leftists and even some queasy Republicans eagerly point out. No, Islam, the religion of peace. There would not be Quran. There's no terrorism. Of course, it's not true. But let's say that it is true. If it's religion of peace, and terrorism has nothing to do with Islam, it's just that terrorists hide in Muslim neighborhoods. If you are a peace-loving Muslim, wouldn't you welcome an effort by law enforcement to root out that kind of thing from your neighborhood? That's a question I raised. And that's what Halperin's asking Cruz here in a disagreeing way. Well, what would you say to a young child who would see one of these policemen in the neighborhood, wondering why is the policeman in their neighborhood? A young Muslim child getting increased scrutiny. Don't you see how they could be suspicious of this?
New York had in place a very effective program to work cooperatively with the Muslim community to monitor and prevent radicalization and to prevent Islamic terror attacks from occurring before they happen. Now, unfortunately, Mayor de Blasio came into office, and he's every bit as captive to political correctness as is Barack Obama or Hillary Clinton, and they disbanded the program. The police are here to protect us. I categorically reject the view of Democrats that the police are the bad guys. When we have police in a community, it protects that community and keeps it safe.
And it's hard to disagree with that, but people do. And I will acknowledge that there are many communities who think the police are not there but to do anything but catch people and put them in jail. I understand people think that. It's a really sad thing that view of the police has taken hold in so much of America, because it isn't true. Try living without them. Try living in any community without. Try there being nobody at the end of the phone when you call 911. Try it. You want them back within seconds of them leaving the neighborhood. But civil rights coalitions combined with the Democrat Party have worked their magic and have got everybody thinking that the cops are what caused all the problems in Ferguson and Baltimore and Oakland and wherever else. Los Angeles, you name it. The cops are the problem. But you try living in any neighborhood anywhere without them, and you'll want them back before the day is over. Now, last night in Pewaukee, Wisconsin, there was a campaign event, Insight 2016. One little more soundbite here from Ted Cruz.
I'm so sorry to be dismaying Barack Obama. And, you know, yesterday and today, I was attacked by Barack Obama and Hillary Clinton and New York's Mayor Bill de Blasio, which suggests maybe I'm doing something right.
It wasn't just those. I mean, it was the entire leftist power structure that went after Cruz, and many Republicans did too, went after Cruz on this. And that's why I spent so much time yesterday trying to tell people, hey, this is not Cruz's idea. This is an idea that was hatched and implemented under George W. Bush and continued by Barack Obama. Barack Obama had a chance to get rid of the program, and he didn't. He kept it in place. Barack Obama's the guy, almost personally, flying drones over the Middle East, looking at people to kill based on his decision to kill them. He's in charge of the kill list. If the world is our neighborhood, Obama clearly is surveilling it. And under the same premises that Cruz suggested neighborhoods be surveilled in the United States. With all these refugees coming in, with all the illegal immigrants pouring in, tell me it doesn't make sense. Here, let me give you a story. Just happens to coincide with this. The headline says it all. 3 Washington, D.C. students arrested with bomb-making equipment in dorm room. I wonder what their names are. Doesn't say. George Mason University, located in Fairfax, Virginia, outside Washington. It's been the site of jihadi organizing and recruitment in recent years and even months. 3 students were arrested with bomb-making equipment in dorm rooms, and their names have not been released. They have not been identified. Why not? You know, it's any time there's a political scandal, a Democrat's involved, you'll never read that he's a Democrat. They never put that in the story. Why? Well, because they're a bunch of hypocrites. The only time scandals are worthwhile is when the Republicans commit them and they can get them out of office or otherwise render them impotent. They have their belief system. So if you're out there, if you believe that Islam is a religion of peace and Islam has nothing to do with Islamic terrorism, and if you're out publicly saying so and you're out trying to convince people, don't fall into Al-Qaeda, these guys, they're abusing a great religion. They're not really Islamists. They're not really Muslim. And then 3 students arrested with bomb-making equipment in a dorm room, and they happen to be Muslim. Of course you're not going to mention their name. Makes you look bad. So that's what everybody's going to conclude. You don't publish their name, it must be you're trying to cover for the fact that you're wrong about something. This is a Breitbart story, by the way. 3 Washington, D.C. students arrested, bomb-making equipment in dorm room. The AP reporting the 3 George Mason University students have been arrested for allegedly possessing. Oh, and you know what? There's another story in here, folks, about how we have rounded up U.S. Marshals arrest 13,000 in sweep targeting worst violent offenders. 13,000 individuals with open warrants as part of a national operation aimed at targeting the worst of the worst, and yet we're told we cannot round up illegal aliens in the shadows.